Spirit eye, come alive. Spirit eye, help me thrive. I am, I can. Welcome to Aries season. This is Ciara of Wholly Aligned, helping you live a life in true holistic alignment with your dreams, hopes, desires, wishes, using practicality and mystery as a weave and a blend. Welcome. Hello. How are you? So, as a lover of words, maybe you too are a lover of words and a wordsmith. How we craft and curate our words can be really interesting. And as I'm filming this, it's right in the zone or the feeling of this partial solar eclipse. So I've deliberately sort of sat myself like a cat in the sunshine to shine out, to beam out something that sets a light in you, that ignites something in you. Aries on the zodiacal wheel is the first sign. And so from the wheel of the year, the spring equinox that we've just had here in the UK is the signal, the symbol of new beginnings, fresh starts. How do you feel about the season of spring? Spring is in the air, the buds are blooming, beginning, something is stirring. So, how that feels in our own interiority, in our own rhythms and cycles, that we are made of rhythms and cycles and pulses and changes. And with Aries being that first sign, it can be interesting as a budding astrologer myself, very much still in studentdom, that we consider the glyphs, the symbols. Aries has got the horns of the ram as the glyph. It's two horns. So to really sense and feel, maybe we could call this our antlers, our true spiritual radar. Where are we sensing and feeling in the world? What is that ram energy? Rams, when they're fired up, can be powerful and fierce and angry. So the shadow side of Aries is the war. And really, are we at war with ourselves? What is going on in the deeper machinations of the mind? And if you got one thing from this broadcast today, that Aries, again, if we come back to the words and flip it around a little bit, it's arise. Arise. I can, I am. These are the affirmations, if you like, that are resonant for Aries energy and very much the energy of the solar plexus. So to bring in more of the esoterica of yoga, that we have to get over this modern hypnosis that yoga is warrior one, warrior two, yes, that is wonderful for our physicality. Yet if we've disconnected with the breath, that which is inspiring and expiring at all times, in and out, that the breath is indicating, are we in truth or are we in fear? And of course, there's the nuance and the kaleidoscopic intricacies within all of that. It's why yoga at its heart is a path of self-realization, and that the breath is the anchor and therefore it is the foundation. Doesn't it make sense? Because no breath, no life. No sun, no life. So in our chart, our sun sign is really what we are becoming, what we're embodying in terms of our dharma, our mission, our true self. And so, of course, it can take so many knots and gnarlinesses and mistakes and inner turbulences to continue this unraveling, to get to that, okay, now we can begin again. And it doesn't matter how old you are, we can always begin again. So it's that Aries energy, spring equinox. Today in the UK, the clocks are changing, so we're getting longer light. So all of this, what does that awaken in you? What does that ignite in you? And where are you taking up the mantle of your own fortitude? And I've brought in Caroline Williams' book, Move. So I heard about this move on a sacred dance teacher training in Sweden with one of my fabulous teachers, Julie Martin of Brahmani Yoga. If you ever get a chance to work with her, do. She's amazing and awesome and hilarious and very grounded. And she comes from a dance background, long-time yoga practitioner and teacher. And this book is the new science of body over mind. So I'm just putting this in as a really useful Aries curiosity that we learn so much from reading a book. And let's just do a random open, a bit of bibliomancy here. Okay, just opened it at chapter 4, Slave to the Rhythm. Is there a song in everything? I think there is. Slave to the Rhythm. Okay, so she's actually included a quote at the beginning of this chapter, so I'm just going to read it. There is perhaps no stronger behavior to unite humans than coordinated rhythmic movement. Oh my gosh, this is so joyful and so Aries, and that we come together and drop the pretenses that, oh, I don't know how to dance, or I'm embarrassed, I don't like my body, or we drop this and we just come together and we let the rhythm inform us. This is very much the tenet of sacred dance. It's not choreography. It's about, can we communicate with each other beyond words so that we're just there in the body? Aries is very much about the body. Do we need to just get out in the fresh air? Do we need to just go and lie on the beach? I live in Ramsgate on the East Kent coast in England. I lived in London for a long, long time. And can we just get out and go to the beach and just maybe stand at the shoreline and listen to the waves if we need calming, or maybe take off our shoes and get the sand between our toes and palpate. Our feet are sensors. We get all of this sensory feedback from the feet. And thank goodness the yoga world is now including so much more around the somatics. And actually, it always has. It's just been perhaps a little bit more hidden in a lot of the texts, that some of them are like engineering manuals. They're so complex. So that there's this almost this Aries energy, is this fresh childlike energy that is asking us to like release or shake off some of those intensities that we've become entangled with, the complexities of the mind that, oh, it's just too complex. And it's okay, right? Life is complex. That can we simplify to amplify, as Marie Forleo says, can we simplify to amplify, to remember the simple things are the incredible things. And I really feel that that's very much Aries season at the moment. What else have I got in my small notebook? Oh yeah, the energy of the sun. So Aries is a fire sign and it's ruled by Mars. So any fire sign, I think, asks us to engage a little bit more with what makes us hot. You know, what makes us hot and steamy? Is it some good sex? Is it some, oh my God, I'm just going to eat this piece of chocolate and it's just going to bring me into some sort of sensual delight? Again, childlike it can be, but it can also be that deep sexual exploration. That Aries, that masculine Mars Aries thrusting, it is that the phallus. It's out of control. We know it's out of control in its shadow side. You know, the sex industry or porn or this stuff that is, it can be very, very dark. So how do we reclaim that thrusting energy within our own self? It's like the mudra of the sacred yoni, or the pestle and mortar, with the left hand and a strong right hand, left side, right brain, right hand, left brain. So our masculine is going, okay, here, I'm here. And then we bring it to the solar plexus. And we take a few breaths. So our yoga sometimes, especially if we're in convalescence and recovery, is breathing, is mudra, is doing nothing. So what does it mean to you in your life at the moment, and what arc and angle of your unique life is being scrutinized and asking you to let go of something? Is it in intimate relationships? Is it in your work? Is it in groups? Like, have you got involved as a trustee in something that's actually doing your head in? Is it travel? Like, is it time to do more inside travel rather than outside travel? Or maybe foreign travel, you're having a rest from it and you're going to do more home travel. What is the new beginning that you're calling in? And to keep it simple. So it's a bit like the goddess Bridget and her forge and temple is, can we sit at the forge of our own transformation, of our own alchemical breakdown, and recognize that there is magic and medicine within that. So we strike a match. A very beautiful ceremony that you can do over these coming days is in the morning when you get up. If you have an altar space, use your altar space. If you don't, start creating one simply with a candle. Begin with a candle. Strike a match. Even that, you know, I like to light candles with matches rather than a lighter because it's that, okay, what are we hitting? What are we striking? What are we igniting? And then we bring the match to the wick and it catches and it flickers. And even in that, there can be medicine. There can be something mirroring to us because everything in life is a mirror. So when we get too stuck in our humanness and forget our divinity, where can we come back to this merging with the superconscious and come back to the truth of the here and now, which is vast. Okay, the here and now is not a singularity, is it? So this invitation to really lay your burdens down, not letting the past emotionally derail you. How often do we hang on and cling on to stuff that continues to inform our decision-making capacity? As we come back to, again, those simple things: breath, movement, slave to the rhythm. Okay, if you're getting caught in your junk up here, put a favorite song on. Doesn't matter how you move. To paraphrase Einstein, nothing happens until something moves. You know, can you just move something? Move it. Move a hand. I like to move it, right? And the other energy that's very important for us as a collective at the moment, and for us personally in the journey we're personally engaging with, is that Venus, the planet of beauty, harmony, aesthetics, how we connect and relate to each other, you know, how we form connections. So it's very interesting to look at where Venus is in your chart. That's going to be a great starting point. In her retrograde cycle, we're just kind of just past the middle of it. So Venus is beginning her rise now again. She died into the throes of the sun about a week ago, and now she is back to being visible as the morning star. So it's that arise energy again. So if you've been feeling like the past few weeks, Venus retrograde began on the 2nd of March. Again, look at where it is in your chart. The Aries and Pisces, it's an Aries and Pisces story. Very much more in Aries because the Venus star point is in Aries. Again, don't worry too much about if this doesn't make sense. To some of you, it will. To others, it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to park that, or I'm going to launch my own research assignment around that. But to consider that what sort of common themes are coming up from 2017 to 2025, this 8-year cycle, Venus in her synodic cycle is an 8-year journey. And then every 18 months within that 8-year cycle, she goes retrograde. So she's appearing to move backwards. No planet moves backwards in reality. It's just based on the distance of her relationship with Earth and Sun. But that's a real opportunity to go inwards, to consider, you know, what is it that harmonizes? What is it that balances? How do we love? How did we learn to love? How do we relate to the women in our lives? Venusian themes. And in more esoterica, Venus, we embody Venus truly in the heart, the anahata, the unstruck sound here, the center of all things. It's our inner sun. The energy of Venus is very much connected to the heart. So can we get out of the machinations of the mind? And of course, this is a journey. It's layered, it's nuanced. To drop into the countenance and counsel and wisdom of the chambers of the heart. If we look at embryology and how the heart forms, it forms in tremendous twists and spirals so that it can be strong. Dugum. Go dugum. Yeah? Okay. What else? Yeah, burning ceremony. It can be really useful. So, yeah, if you light your candle for 3 mornings and just see what happens. Light your candle, strike a match. I'm igniting clarity, or I'm igniting a change, a reorientation. What is it in your marriage or in your relationship with your child? Are we reading the living field in an intelligent way? To give you an example, I took my little Jack Russell for a walk to the beach. And first off, I don't think dogs understand the concept of satiety. So he went trundling off when I took him off his lead. And there were two little boys. They were probably about maybe 10 or 11 sitting, having some fish and chips. And of course, he went and stole a chip. And they were actually very calm and collected. They just started to gather up their fish and chips and stood up. And I said, no, off we go. We're going to the beach, Jack. Sorry about that, boys. No worries. So there was an exchange. They sat back down. They carried on. It was actually very calm. And I think this Aries energy, because it's ruled by Mars, it's masculine energy. And we are this blend of masculine and feminine. But it's quite interesting that on my walk, on this day of a solar eclipse in Aries, which is, again, solar is masculine, moon, feminine, Surya, Chandra, sun and moon, that there were about 3 boys, again, some they varied in age, maybe 4 till about 10, that were really wanting to play with Jack and throw his ball. By nature of the sun being out, the beach was busier, so there were more people around. But it was interesting that there was just this sort of playful boy energy. So I'm just bringing that in here again, because maybe that relates to, again, it could be a child in your life. It could be you as a boy, that this work is not just for women. I have learned so much from working with men in my practice as well. And, it's kind of like, I think collectively we're all going through this big fundamental change, that something is missing, and we're returning back to that sense of spiritual sustenance. And that's going to look different for each person. But at the heart of it, it's that, can we merge with the divine and the superconscious? It goes beyond religion. Religion might be an avenue that helps us reorientate again. But if we're caught by the dogma of it, and it's about human control, that's not God consciousness. So the superconscious, the divinity within, we are human and divine. And to really come into the arc of our destiny is to reframe our behaviors. And it comes back to that Aries energy, Spring Equinox, the sun. We can begin again. Arise, arise, fair maiden, or arise, strong warrior. It is the warrior energy. And how do we flip that switch if we have a tendency towards more passive behavior? How do we want to be a warrior in our lives? Is it about, I'm laying down new boundaries? And not to this isn't about, how do we put it? There's so much noise in our modern world, isn't there? How do we strip and come to that point that, that is what makes sense. And that's the benefit of repetition. It's like slave to the rhythm. Okay, we don't just put on a song once and never dance again. Think of how you loved to dance when you were younger, or you didn't. What's your relationship with movement? Nothing changes until something moves. And it doesn't have to be choreographed. It might be, maybe you have a dance background. Irrigate with sunlight. Yeah, I've written that down as well. Irrigate with sunlight. So the Essenes were, from long ago, they had this deep understanding of, okay, we go out into the sun, we do our 15-minute sunbathing. And then that's sufficient for the vitamin D synthesis. This is from, hundreds of years ago. This isn't because they'd read an article online about vitamin D. They knew, they had that deep relationship with the sun, that there was some kind of information that was coming in, that there's this cholesterol derivative on our skin that gets activated by the sunlight, and that then speaks to the liver, and that speaks to the kidneys. So that's this whole process. We get strong bones from movement, from the sun, from connecting with the bones of who we really are, the bones of our ancestors. So, it's change and transformation energy. What else have I written? Yeah. Sun energy, especially with this solar eclipse in Aries. We had a recent lunar eclipse in Virgo, which was really asking us to kind of, okay, we're done with that addictive pattern. We're done with that. Okay, I just bought a packet of biscuits and ate all of them in one go. We're done with that. So it's not about perfection, though. The shadow side of Virgo is perfectionism. So where can we come into that true fire, that fire of Aries, newness? Don't fear beginning again. Don't fear beginning again. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the Venus story it goes all the way back to Inanna, the 4,000-year-old ancient Sumerian myth. Jesus crucified, died, rose again. It's the Venus story. Evening star, dying in the throes of the sun, rising again. So really, however you want to connect with Venus at the moment, and to know that there are these rhythms and cycles. So what's happening now, the seeds you're sowing now, the reflections you've been moving through now in this Venus retrograde, she goes direct on the 13th of April here in the UK. This is going to play itself out over the next 9.5 months. So when she makes what's called a superior conjunction with the sun in January, you're going to go, oh, okay, now what happened in March, April time? It's making sense now in January 2026. So what is it? Again, look at your chart. See which house your Aries and Pisces is in and what that house represents. So is it 4th house, family stuff? Is it 5th house, your house of joy, your house of romance, your house of children? Maybe you're really paying attention to more childlike things or real physical children in your life. Changes. Oh yeah, the other thing, tapasia. Not having a bowl of tapas in a Spanish restaurant, although that is very pleasing, especially when done in Spain. Tapasia is Sanskrit for, it's that fire. So this Aries energy, it's a great time to kind of, okay, interrupt a pattern, recognize the pattern and then interrupt it. What are you done with? What is your undoing? What is your self-sabotage? What needs to be punched in the face to begin again? Not obviously actually punching somebody in the face, but, done with that. I'm moving on. I'm moving on up now. Coming out of the darkness. My light shines on. My light shines on. My light shines on. My light shines on. Yeah, okay. And finishing off with some practicality, because my sun is in Virgo. I love some practical information. Hot water and lemon. Warmth. Lemon. Yellow. Yellow is the Ra of the solar plexus. Ra is the Egyptian sun god. What's the bija mantra for the solar plexus? Ram, 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 ram. Ram, 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 ram. Sure, there's a reason. Yes, there is. There are higher reasons why I moved to Ram's Gate. That energy of the ram. In Oldie English, it actually means Raven's Gate, the parting where the ravens fly. So that appeals to my Scorpio North Node, which is about magic and mystery. So True North for me is, okay, it's more now about magic and mystery. That's the energy I'm coming into more now, which is why I am feeding my YouTube channel Holy Aligned in this way now, that there's so many beautiful yoga YouTube channels out there. So you can go and get your asana practice, yoga with Adrienne. And I think it's really important that with Aries energy as well, we really light up the people who are following their true energy. So Laurie Lothian, who I'm in a Venus retrograde course with at the moment, I love her approach. She's a Hellenistic whole sign house astrologer. and much deeper than that. She's a diviner ultimately. And to, hang out with people who are doing, like, they're living the life that is, yes, that is true, that is honest, that is what she's doing. So what is it that you're coming into? And there's loads of places to explore and investigate and change and interrupt, like, so that we don't turn on ourselves. I know this energy very well, where we turn on ourselves and then, oh no, I've turned on myself. So the energy of worry, or, going this misuse of the imagination. So change the image projection that you're putting in. Spirit eye, come alive. Spirit eye, help me thrive. Okay, my darlings, I'm going to leave it there. Subscribe, like, if it resonates. If it doesn't, move on. No problem. What I'd really love is to build, my real intention is to build a community, and get you onto the Holy Aligned newsletter, so you can sign up in the link below. And I will, offer something useful for you in return. If this resonates, then sign up. If it doesn't, again, no problem. We are not for everyone. So you've got to find your tribe, find your corner. And yeah, your friends and allies. So just coming more into the integration of things. Yeah, so much love. Until the next time.